My name is Yolanda Muñoz. I am Mexican and I'm an independent advocate and scholar working on gender and disability since 1992. I'm a wheelchair user, and I would like to share with you how violence against women particularly affects women with disabilities and children with disabilities. In fact, some isolated studies had documented that women with disabilities might are victims of violence in its different forms, either sexual violence, domestic violence, or even financial or emotional violence, 3 times more than their non-disabled counterparts. Why does it happen? Well, it happens because women with disabilities live in environments of high dependency on their relatives or sometimes in institutions, and they need primary care, and sometimes the people who abuses them are the ones that provide this kind of care. So it is very, very difficult in this kind of environment to escape from a violent situation, because simply you cannot go to the bathroom if the person doesn't help you. So also another thing that has been identified in recent research regarding human trafficking is that some persons with disabilities are trafficked for begging purposes and as well as sexual exploitation. So some studies are also addressing disability issues as a situation of vulnerability, particular for women, men, and children with disabilities. And well, internationally, the most recent effort has been the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and particularly Article 16, which specifically addresses which measures should the signatory countries will address to prevent and put an end to violence against persons with disabilities, particularly, well, specifically women and children who are considered the most well, not vulnerable, because you know that it's a complex term, but that in a situation of vulnerability, you know, the situation that puts them at risk. And the Article 16 of this convention, which has binding power, says that signatory countries should create these action plans, policies, for preventing violence and also for punishing the people who aggresses persons with disabilities. And well, also services for recovery of victims of violence. Now that I'm mentioning this, if for people working with disabilities and disability studies or with women's studies, maybe there are very important resources that might clarify or might go deeper in this point, mainly the work of Leonard J. Davis on normalcy. It's the book is called The Disability Studies Reader. It's and also Gender in Disabilities, a book published by Rutgers University. I mean, that contains a lot of information on how gender and disability are intimately related. And well, again, I just want to insist on the importance of self-respect, of the most important weapon that every woman, independently or regardless of their abilities, can have to escape from violence. We have to say no to violence and to break the silence.